Aloha, I am Chief Tivoli Faaumu of the Maui Police Department. I am honored to be your guest speaker. We applaud your achievements this far. As you take this time to celebrate, remember you are at a crossroad. Choices you make today can and will affect your future. As we navigate these unprecedented times, the COVID 19 pandemic has shaped many actions and decisions like this presentation. We have had to adapt and find ways to get things done. But through it all, these difficult times, we fight on and we rise to the challenge. As I began formulating what I would like to speak about, I was reminded of many stories, good and bad, that lead me to where I am today. Upon graduating school, I never thought me, a young Tongan island boy with English as his second language, would one day be the chief of police. As you begin the next journey in your life, remember, if you believe in it, you can achieve it. Through perseverance, hard work, and dedication, I would like to share a few stories with you.
What I was asked to talk about is my journey as I arrived here in Hawaii attending school, and it's pretty much similar to your journey as you left your island here for Hawaii. Anyway, in 1978, I was here in Hawaii, January of 1978, attended college at BYU, Hawaii, and it was exciting. It was an exciting moment for me. You see a lot of students from different places in the United States and even from different locations. And some of the students are from the same island as me. So when I attended my first class, I realized that I had taken the same classes I did back at home here in Hawaii. And I'm thinking to myself, why should I go to school? Why should I pay thousands of dollars to attend school and take the same classes? So I have a good idea. I should just cut out a class, don't attend school, and take the final exam at the end of the semester, and I'm pretty sure I'll ace it. Didn't work out that way. I don't think the school agreed with me. My family did not agree with me, and so they gave me a timeout to stay home for one semester and return in the fall of 1978. At that time, I got married. I started a family. I moved to Maui. That's where my wife was from. The only job that I was qualified to do was working construction. I remember I applied to hotels and other areas and thinking that I can use my major, which was business management, and hopefully I can get into the hotel or something like that. But I couldn't because I didn't have any experience in any of that field. So I continued working construction. It was not easy. Tell me about it. I was working, we were building the golf course at Kapalua at that time. So I was about 18, going on 19 at that time, and out there in the trenches, it was hot. And I was thinking, this is not what I wanted to do. I didn't come to Hawaii to go and get an education and end up working as a laborer. It is not something I wanted to do. But I realized that I have to start a family. And so I stick it out and move forward. I stayed with the company, worked for Kapalua, and enjoy every moment of it. But one day I was writing down the deficiency for the equipment that I was operating, and there was this elderly Japanese male there. He told me when I handed him the deficiency paperwork, and he was a mechanic, he said, "Hey, boy, you can spell." I said, "Yes, I went to college." And he said, "What are you doing here?" I said, "Well, it's a job, support my family, get paid every Friday, close by, work Monday to Friday. It's a good job." And he said, "Well, you should go back to school." I said, I can't afford it. And he said, you should join the Army. I said, no, I can't. I don't think I have the discipline that the Army is looking for. He said, why don't you join the Army Reserve? I said, what is the Army Reserve? He said, it's a weekend warriors. And 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks out of the whole year. I said, okay, maybe I can do that. So I did. And that was the beginning of my journey that got me to the police department. So I signed up with the Army Reserve in 1983. And back then on Maui, the Maui Police Department was under construction. The academy was at the Army Reserve facility right above, almost across of the new station right now. So I went there, and one of the sergeants, he retired. I learned his name is Sergeant Gary Iwohi. He saw me, and he said, hey, boy, you ever thought about, it's funny, they called you boy back then, and there was nothing wrong with that. He said, boy, why don't you join the police department? And I guess because of the haircut and local looking, and I said, no, I don't want to join the police department. So we had a conversation, and he said, where are you from? You sound funny. I told him I'm Tongan, part Samoan. I grew up in Tonga and this and that. And he said, you should join the police department. But what he did, he planted the seed for me. And I was not interested at the time. But as I go by every day, I will see a police car, I'll see a police officer, and I was interested in what they were doing. The Army also offered me, after 1 year signing up with the Army, a full-time job for the Army. And so it was a choice between working full-time for the Army or join the police department. So I decided I should work full-time for the Army. But until I found out that I have to transfer someplace at the end of every 5-6 years. Going back after talking to Sergeant Iwohi, at the time I took the police exam. And when I found out that I can't stay on Maui for my whole career as an Army Reserve, I have to transfer because I work for the federal government, I decided to join the Maui Police Department. So I did. And the only thing I know about the criminal justice, the American criminal justice, was what I learned in recruit school. Anything else is, I have to guess. So early on in my career, when I'm out there, and let's say I'll talk to somebody about something, and they get smart with me, the only thing I would say is, I'll place you under arrest. Why? Because I didn't know what else. I didn't understand the system, how the system worked. So I decided to go to school. And I took classes at Maui Community College, Administration of Justice. And it was through that education I learned more about the American judiciary system. Back then all I know was British judiciary system, because you learn that attending school. So I got back and I worked my way through the department, and it was a good career early on. After graduating from the academy, I spent 3 years out on the field in Lahaina, and then transferred to a specialized unit. I thought I was in the top of my game. I said, 3 years in patrol and then go to a specialized unit, you're good to go. But what happened was, as I move up the rank, I don't think I was ready mentally for it, to accept the responsibility. But I took it and I moved on. After 6.5 years, I got promoted to sergeant, went back out, and it was a challenge for me because I didn't realize now you're going to lead people. That's what happened. But before I go on, I wanted to share a story with with you folks on my journey after graduating from the academy. They make you walk the beat. So we were walking the beat, and somebody was smoking a joint. But back then, what they'll do is they'll put you in the car, drop you off, pick you up later at the end of the 8 hours. So the only way you can get back to the station if you have an arrest or go back into a case. So we had a case. We arrested somebody and we took them to the station for smoking marijuana, and we type out my report. I thought it was a perfect report. Submit it, go home, feel good about myself. I said, yeah, welcome to police work. I'm doing a great job. So the next day I showed up to work, and captain said, I need to talk to you. So I thought, hey, maybe the captain will give me a pat on the shoulder for a job well done. Suit up, walk into his office. The first thing I saw was my report on his desk. And back then, you get a mistake, there were red circle all over it. So he told me, he said, I said, yes, that's my report. He said, yeah, Sergeant said you need to learn how to write police report. And I was thinking to myself, well, I thought I do. I'm going to school now, so I thought I'm doing a great job. So the captain said, sit down and let me talk to you. So he went on and explained what the sergeant said about my report and what I need to do to make it through probation. And he said, you have a choice. You can do something about it. And I said, yeah, I think I'll do that. So again, reinforce the going to school. That's something that you need to do. You need to reinforce that. And as you all know, for me, English is second language. So I'm pretty sure a lot of you, English is second language. So sometimes people might not understand what we said, but two things you can do. You can just forget about it, or you can better yourself by doing something. So that's what I did. Went back to school, attend school, and finally graduate from it. But when I was assigned to the specialized unit, I want to share a story with you. One day I came into the office and my commander said, hey, Tivoli, they call me Tivoli. He said, I need you to go out to Lahaina. There is an undercover case that happened in Lahaina. I want you to go there, review. What I mean by there was an undercover police officer making a drug buy. So go out there, meet with the sergeant, and I want you to show the sergeant how to write a report and how to conduct an undercover drug buy. I told the captain, yes, Captain, I will go out to Lahaina. And I said, by the way, who's the sergeant? He gave me the name of the sergeant. And guess what? That was the sergeant that red circled my report when I graduated from the academy. I said, and I said to myself, you know what, I'll get even with that SOB. So got in my car and I went out there. I drove out there and met with the sergeant. But on my way there, I was thinking to myself, there's two things you can do. You can just go out there and do the job, or you go out there and belittle the sergeant, like what he did to you. So I decided not to do that, because if I do that, I'll be the same as him. I met him at the station. I showed him step by step on how you write a report, an undercover buy, and how you submit the evidence, and how you weigh it, test it, and things like that. So I kind of went over it line by line with him. And at the end of it, then he said, when I called the vice office, the captain says, I'm going to send my ace over. Yeah, you are the ace of the narcotic division. And I said, yep, I think I got him. So that's something that you can do. As you're out there in the workplace, sometimes, people will second guess your ability. That will be a challenge that you will face when you are there. Sometimes we sound funny. People might not understand what we say, but that doesn't mean you're not an intelligent individual. That's what I'm trying to get across to you. What you need to do is you need to better yourself by practicing. You know what I did throughout my career? I joined the Toastmaster. I'm not sure if any of you know what it is. It's basically help you to give public speeches. It allows you to talk to an audience. It allows you to capture the attention of the audience by talking to them and minimize other things that you have on the side and be focused about it. So I did that. And it got me through to where I am today. But again, going back to my career when I was transferred to the specialized unit and then got promoted to sergeant. And I remember I walked there. I went back to Lahaina. That's where they assigned me to. And in our uniform, we have stars. So every stars represent 5 years of service. So I walk in and I had 1 star. And the folks in there know me, and they said, geez, Tivo, yesterday you were beat partners. We taught you how to write reports and things like that, and now you are sergeants. You know, and I just juggle about it. You will get people that will doubt your accomplishment. Even now as a chief, you know, sometimes people will like, are you sure you're the chief? You know, but I know who I am. You know, one thing I learned was you don't have to walk around and tell everybody who you are, what you had accomplished. You don't need to do that. Your action will speak louder than anything else. So moving forward in my career, as I move up in the departments, and you know, you get your up and down, and sometimes you think to yourself, am I making the right choice? You know, it affects things that you do at home, and but the end of the day, it's up to you on how you're gonna make it. It's up to you on how you are going to achieve your goal that you set. You know, you think about it. Back in our islands, you paddle canoes, you know, you paddle from one island to the next island. So you know where you're going. But along the way, you're going to get the waves and currents and everything, and wind will push you astray from your course. But you got to stay the course to get to where you're going. It's the most important things. And later on, you will achieve that. So that's what I want you to do. I want you to achieve the goal that you set for yourself. You also remember, like for me, back from the island, is you represent the family. You know, your family name means a lot to us, you know, Pacific Islanders, you know. And if you think about it, it's the same thing that happened back home. So it's very important that you do that. Not only you represent your family, but you also represent where you're from. You should take advantages of any opportunity that you get. You know, back at home, remember I did talk about your name. Well, at home, if your name is a chief or something, you don't have to worry about anything else. If you are a commoner, well, then maybe you need to worry about something, you know, how to get ahead for yourself. Here in the United States, they don't care who you are. Whether you are the son of a chief, daughter of a chief, nephew, or you are the chief yourself, it doesn't matter. It's what you accomplish and how you set your goal. And that's the most important thing that you need to do. Right now, you are at a milestone in your career. You graduated from high school, and then what are you going to do next? You know, it's easy to just find a job or hang out with your friends, do whatever you want to do. But at the end of the day, when you finally sit down and ask yourself, what have I accomplish, then it's up to you to make that answer. It's up to you to say that. So as I move up through the rank, it was a challenge, but I overcame those challenges. The department afforded me the opportunity to attend the FBI National Academy. So I was fortunate enough to go. And after the academy, I got back and I got promoted and I moved up the rank. And at the same time, decided to continue my education. I got my bachelor in business management and also my master's in homeland security. I'm not bragging about it, but what I wanted to share is to instill in you, and I challenge you, to do the same thing. You need to do that. Do it for yourself and also for the family. So one day, I was a commander. I was sitting out there, and the commissioners that represent the district I was working will come and visit me. Wanted me to address some of the issues that we have. And one day we had a conversation, and he said, I want you to answer me what you think about this issue. So I respond to him, and he said, you should be the next chief. And I said, well, thank you very much, commissioners. I am honored by your recommendation, but I am a trooper. The culture of the police department, the chief selected his or her deputy, and when the chief retired, the deputy becomes the chief. I will not do anything against that. And he said, well, what happened if we don't like the deputy? I said, I don't pay enough money to find out what the deputy is doing. But it was the day that he planted the seed. And I decided to put in my name for it. There were 24 of us that applied for the position. They selected 6, and I was the top 6 that they selected. And then we went through the interview, and I was prepared for it. I said to myself, don't just put your name in there just for the sake of putting your name in there. You need to do something about it. Be serious about what your plan is. So I did that, and I made the top 3. And the top 3 was the deputy chief, who's supposed to be the chief, the assistant chief, who is my boss, and me. And then, of course, the commissioner appointed me for the position. Every day I would sit in my office and I would look out there and I said to myself, is this real? I pinch myself, is this for real or not? I remember growing up at home. You're a kid, most of the time you walk everywhere. Now I'm sitting in this office and people have to make an appointment to come and see me. And I'm thinking to myself, really? Is this the same Tongan kid that grew up in Tonga? I am proud of it. But what I wanted to do is to share my story with you. Because any one of you one day can share the same story, and you can say, yeah, I graduated from high school and gets this chief of police that sound funny and talk funny, and he was from another island in the Pacific, talk about his journey, and I decided to follow his journey. And it is important. I can tell you folks, it's something that you need to work toward it. Every time I tell the story, it's always bringing back memories. Let me tell you a story. When the chief hired me, he asked me, he said, well, tell me what talents do you have that you can contribute to this great organization? You know what I told him? I said, well, don't know how to climb a coconut tree, don't know how to build a stone wall, I don't know how to paddle a canoe. So here I am. In your flyers, it says no skill and knowledge. We'll take you whatever you are, however you are. I think that's the right phrase for it. And it's funny, but that's what I told them. I thought, I don't think they will hire me for doing that, for saying something like that. But it is. You know, what you got, what you see, what is in front of you, it is. Whether I don't like you, I will say something to you, you know. But yes, I'm pretty sure a lot of you have skills. And let me tell you something. Every time I hear my bid partner says, you know, they work very hard. They, you know, we had a tough day today. I think to myself, you don't know what is a tough day today. You are there working in a plantation, you know, all day long, and then walk home. And that is what I call hard work. That is the reason why I didn't want to climb a coconut tree or build a stone wall or do anything like that, because I just can't handle it, you know. So here I am as your chief.
In closing, whatever road you take, whatever choices you make, I challenge you to rise above your own expectations. Strive for excellence, and remember, you can make a difference. Mahalo. Okay.